You know,
You don't have to.
I know she's coming, you know.
yeah,
Just
all right.
letting you know.
Okay, it's 7:06. I'd like to call to order the Monday, July 21st, 2025 meeting of the Thompson Conservation Commission. First, item on the agenda is review of the June 16th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do we have a copy of the minutes by any chance? I didn't see them in the file.
Yeah, sorry, that
I could post them, but.
scrambled up with so many other things here. Oh, I'm sorry, if you can blast the next thing, I'll have. you
Sure.
in a second.
All right, okay, let's move on to financial matters and then we'll come back to the minutes. Carol, do you have the budget? Great.
Well, this is as of June 30th, which was the end of the year. We actually had some money left over. Well, I'll go through it all. The actual budget was 33,513. And we seem to use $32,143.27, which left us with an available amount of $1,369.73, which is 95.9%.
What's the percentage, 95?
95.9. So that means that we've got a little bit extra because we don't have a budget right now. So they
All
can
right, thank
pay their
you.
July bills.
You can get it. There's something wrong with the printer.
No, why are you trying to print something?
Yeah, two things I tried to print.
Are you trying to print the minutes? All right, let me try on mine. I'm gonna try to print it to the copier, yeah. This is from June 16th, Gloria?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, I do. It's not gonna be.
Stuff I gotta read.
Albert, I have minutes.
Yeah.
Well. You? Where did you go?
Go to the vote.
Did you just print them up? So did I.
Have we got them twice?
So did not me. Amy.
Circular file.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you anyway.
Thank you, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
See, great minds think alike, see that?
Another copy to take home.
You want me to take that extra?
We'll reuse it, okay. We'll reuse the paper for notes.
Okay. Did I miss anything? Oh, we just been sitting for,
Okay. Did you discuss the budget?
we didn't.
You want the figures?
Staff reporting, maybe,
Yes.
okay.
Get those correspondence.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone need a little more time to look over the minutes or are we all set?
No, I have. You have it, but if you can't find it.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
That's Dave, yep. Definitely Pete's gonna second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Minutes are approved. All right, correspondence. Margaret, I don't know if you want to go through piece by piece, or if there's just anything in there that you want to pull out to talk about, or if there's anything that anyone has any questions about this year.
Because I know you have one in your packet, just in case.
No, I think you had said, you had suggested someone had suggested putting this fee in lieu of. Was that you, Judy?
Yeah, I don't remember. We're going a month ago, right?
I'm at a meeting, I'll call you later.
Let's see.
I didn't get Audubon,
Yes.
what that meant. Oh, this came from, it was Tara. Kira thought we might wanna know about it.
Yeah, were we thinking? I don't know if we were thinking of anything in particular. It takes quite a, I mean, deadline for submissions is this Friday, right? Yeah, this is the 21st, so it takes quite a bit of time to put proposals together, but.
Then the next thing is, National Park Service letting us know that we're not going to be able to get technical assistance with our open space plan.
And that's on the agenda under old business, so
Okay,
we can discuss further at that point, I think.
and just a update about hydrilla in the Connecticut River, which seems to be an urgent issue. They're racing to find a way to herbicide it.
News a lot lately.
Yeah, it's been growing there for quite a few years and it just, it keeps gaining more and more area, I guess, yeah.
Blumenthal was there this week.
Yes.
It was on, I know it was awesome.
And then there's just some invitation to learn more about lakes and septic systems from the Connecticut Federation of Lakes. Connecticut Audubon Summer Newsletter. Which interestingly talks about how they banned neonicotinoids on 300,000 acres of turf in Connecticut.
Yeah, it was great with the legislation, went through.
I understand some sort of insecticide, or what kind is it particularly, you know?
It's much more toxic than DDT and persists in the environment and accumulates in aquatic ecosystems. And it's the amount they put on 1 square foot of turf can kill hundreds of thousands of bees. Really? And so Christopher Dustin, the wetlands chairman, and I both submitted testimony to the legislature during the hearing process. They didn't completely ban it because they want to have it as a tool in their toolkit in case something comes along attacking trees again. So there's the folks in the arborist industry didn't want it to be big passed for trees and the woody things, so this was only on turf as I understand it and not for the woody things. Then there's a Judy wanted these 2 emails from the zoning enforcement officer in here. Well, they were sent to the to Judy and they probably should have been sent to the whole commission.
Mhm.
One's just a 1-page and the other one is quite a few pages long. That's about it for all I have to say about correspondence.
All right, does anyone have any questions on any of the correspondence, or are we ready to move along? So we can move on to the agent report.
Well, today was a hot day for complaints rolling in about the East Tompkins fire station. I'm sorry, I keep calling it that, the East Tompkins, sorry, cemetery. This gentleman, Kevin Healy, was in here, came to see me on June 16th complaining about his inability to contact Evan Lancaster. And today, Evan Lancaster finally called me and had a different story to say about what Mr. Ely had to say, and I don't really want to be dragged into the whole thing, because it's not really my business. People call me because they call the town clerk, and then they call me, and then I've called Norma, but today I finally got Evan Lancaster's email address, and I can email him when I get contacted now. And then today I also got a message from Woody Woodbury, who's municipal veterans representative for the town of Wyndham. And he's been trying for 2 years to get the sexton to help put a memorial marker of a brass plate on the grave of a veteran. And when I called Norma today, she had just left John Rice's. Before I could tell her about Mr. Woodbury, and she didn't get a chance to talk to him about it, but. I told Mr. Lancaster, and I gave him Woody Woodbury's phone number, and he said he would call him. The veteran's name is McClintock. He's in the last row on the new side of the cemetery, and his wife is buried there, Lois McClintock, and it's a headstone shaped like a teddy bear. And apparently it's quite a process you have to fill out a form, send it to the Veterans Association, and they eventually mail out the plaque apparently got mailed to John Rice's address at some point. And so then they have to send in a form and ask to get paid $125 to mount the plaque on the headstone. So the family's getting anxious because it's been about 2 years now, and hopefully it will get sorted out soon.
All right, yeah, it seems like, I mean, any complaints should be directed to the cemetery association.
We went on the website, they don't seem to have anything on the website, but Carol, you're a member of the East Thompson Cemetery.
Just on the board, which we meet once a year and talk about certain things, but usually it's the sexton that.
Right, and the president and sexton are both Evan Lancaster now, my understanding.
Say that again.
Evan Lancaster is the president and
He's the
sexton.
president and the sexton. Removed himself, and that they were trying to find. Someone new to take his place, so he's been. The president's been kind of filling in for the sexton. Until they find someone they,
Is there a secretary for that board?
yes, Joyce. Mazzola. And Mazzoni. She remarried and I don't know how to pronounce her name.
The East Thompson Cemetery is run by a board of directors that was formed many years ago, back when my father was alive. And it's been run the last few years mainly by John Rice. John Rice has had a stroke and isn't what he used to be. His mind isn't, so he gets stepped back, and Evan Lancaster was nominated and elected as the new president. He's a young fellow busy with an EMT. In visiting with John today, he had a terrible time remembering things. And is still not in the best of health. He's still trying to keep the East Thompson Cemetery going, but he did make the comment that it was hard to step back to something you've done for so many years. So in a sense, I think it's in flux. And I think it'll work itself out, but in the meantime, this man is caught in the middle of these two problems. But it is an independent association that's running the cemetery, and I don't think the town can do too much about it, but
So you're allowed to dig your own grave?
no,
But he did.
No.
Didn't he say he had to?
Yes, it says that.
Pardon?
Yeah. I read that.
He
He said,
wanted to.
Oh, he wanted to.
He says he did.
Yeah, that's what he
He said he did.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe he helped him out and let him do it.
He said that he had given Evan Lancaster 5 weeks notice, and Evan told me today that he called him at around this time of day, the night before the burial. So I don't know who said what.
Hmm.
I don't wanna get dragged into all of that.
Yeah, it's
It's
not a
not
town.
my business.
I'd be careful what I put in the minutes.
Yeah, it's not town business, yeah.
He's a young man and he has to learn what to do, I guess. So he's still learning from John, but John had a stroke and also what's kind of just say, it's not probably. has another issue.
Now, why isn't Evan answering this gentleman?
I
We don't
do,
know,
We don't know.
but if he's got that position, isn't that his responsibility?
Still none of our business.
Yeah, it's not our business,
It's none of our business.
yeah,
Oh,
It's
okay,
a-
all right.
We
It's a
shouldn't even be
private-
discussing this,
yeah.
other than it came in as a letter, it's not ours.
yeah.
Okay.
We don't, yeah, we don't have
There's
any
only this
jurisdiction
one.
over
Yeah.
that.
They're separate, they're their own entity and have nothing to do with us,
Okay, oh, all right,
so.
move on.
We feel bad, but we can't.
Yep.
Alright.
Exactly.
we are involved with the neglected cemeteries, because there's no one there speaking for them.
Right.
The town, does try and take care of them the best
Right, and
knowledge.
towards the end of my report, there's a budget update saying that today I got the attached invoice for the repair of some headstones at the Wilsonville Road, Turtle Art Cemetery, and we managed to get the requisition in to get that paid out, and that's coming out of the town funds for cemeteries, and the next invoice for headstone repair should come out of the neglected cemeteries grant funding. That's that for my report.
Okay. And Norma, the issues that we had with, was it the contract had been resolved? Is that what it was? The notice of grant award? Those were all sorted out.
I didn't understand that.
There were some issues last time with, was it the budget? Just the way that the state had presented the budget in the notice of award, right? Has that all been sorted out?
Oh, in regard to the $8,000 that we got from OPM,
Yeah,
yes,
Okay. all right,
that's going fine, and
great.
started work on the North Rivendell Cemetery from that $8,000 that we got from OPM. To do the North Rivendell Cemetery, there's about 50 gravestones in there that need to be uprighted, glued and set, but they have a tripod that they work with, and lift the stones up and reset them. And Peter's one of our volunteers who works on it.
All right. Margaret, was there anything else? Or that took care of your report? Great, thank you. All right, old business. So the first item of old business is the open space plan. And as we saw in the correspondence, we were contacted by the National Park Service to let us know that they are anticipating a reorganization that will influence staffing levels. And at that time, they were pausing accepting new community assistance projects, so. So they won't be running the program that we had applied for at all. At this time, I guess is the best way to state it. So. I guess that sort of brings us to the question of how we want to proceed with the open space plan update. At this point in time, I don't really see us having the capacity to take that on without some sort of assistance. There's no urgency to updating the plan, other than just the acknowledgement that it is now getting kind of old and is probably due. So, I mean, my thought would be to just wait
Okay,
and see if this assistance,
Can we do any part of it, or should we be doing any part of it?
I'm not really sure what we could do. And to be honest, I don't feel like I have the capacity to take it on at this point myself. Without, without some sort of assistance.
I'm still having difficulty. We just did an open space, because we had to
That
do
was the
ordinance.
plan of conservation and development, yeah.
No,
yeah.
we did an open space plan ordinance, because our open space plan, they changed the tax. When the new tax assessor came in, he said, your open space thing is not legal because you never made an ordinance. And everybody's gonna have to pay taxes.
Oh, you're talking about Public Act 490?
I think so.
Yeah,
But we had to look at the old plan and go over stuff and through the ordinance commission and decide what constituted open space and what didn't. And I don't understand why this is different than what we did then.
this is sort of, I mean, Margaret, you've got a copy there. I don't know if I have my copy with me. This is a plan that this commission put together. One of the authorities that we have through the state, the legislation that authorizes conservation commissions is to create, sorry, words are failing me tonight.
An inventory.
An inventory, thank you, that was such a tough word, of our natural resources. So that's essentially what this plan is
Okay.
that inventory.
I guess I'm completely, what exactly is open space plan?
I gave you all a copy of it a few months ago,
Oh,
at a couple of meetings. It's an inventory of our natural resources and in which we typically prioritize what the natural resources are and how.
is this privately owned land that people, or is it?
Yes,
Oh.
It could be, yes.
it can be. We have private space.
Pardon?
We have a private,
Open,
open space, yeah.
and is that tax-free?
No, taxes are reduced.
The taxes are
Well,
reduced?
that's different,
Both
that's,
public and private, lots of Wyndham Land Trust property has become permanently protected since the last plan was written in 2005. There's a lot more permanently protected open space now than there was 20 years ago. Because mainly because of Wyndham Land Trust.
Okay. So how does conservation fit into that?
You're charged with maintaining an inventory of it.
Okay,
yeah,
And
and
that's
so that's what our conservation and open
do
space.
we have,
plan
do I have one
does.
of those somewhere? No.
You were all given one.
Pardon?
You were all given two
Then I-
copies of it over. a course
Then I
of
have
a
my own.
few
I have,
months.
Yeah, it must be tucked away somewhere.
I have my own.
So it's not rewriting the plan, it's.
It's updating it, it's updating it, yeah, because,
Documenting what
I have everything.
the open
yeah.
space category.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because I know my
Yeah.
wife worked on the original
yes.
and wants to be involved if this is getting, but you
Mhm.
also worked on the ordinance, which I also worked on.
Mhm.
Let me just take it that.
Um,
Everything from way from the beginning. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we would be doing is going through a series of exercises. To look at the plan, look at the information that's in the plan and determine if and or how it should be updated. Maybe look and see if there's anything that we missed that we think should be included that wasn't included in this first round. And then updating, of course, we talked quite a bit about the mapping, updating the mapping. If anything needs to be updated, certainly the open space map. And the open space inventory is gonna be out of date, because as you said, Wyndham Land Trust has been very busy in Thompson.
And some other land trusts.
Yeah,
I got it right here.
some of the other information might not be requiring as much update.
I have a whole nice
Because
one.
I know we used that when we wrote the ordinance. That was our guy, because I kept saying, why don't we just
I'm gonna have to.
say this is the ordinance?
Why don't we just,
Why don't we just say that that's the ordinance? I kept saying, we've already done this, just make this the ordinance and. And a bunch of stuff got put into the ordinance that's not in there.
Mhm. Yeah, they're sort of parallel documents, not.
Yeah.
Not necessarily exactly the same, so,
Lots of other
But
towns
it's
have
a good-
ordinances that could have been used as a model instead of reinventing the wheel.
Well, we tried to look at that too. It was let's see what it was.
well,
I looked at it.
so. So anyway, that's where we stand. That's where we stand in terms of the assistance. Request we put in with the Park Service, it's delayed until some future time, so.
So what have other towns just? What have other?
Yeah, they're not going to, what did they say? They're not,
Anticipating a reorganization that will influence
staffing levels, yeah,
At the moment, they're pausing accepting new community
Right.
assistance projects.
So in this packet.
yeah, yeah. So we,
This is it.
yeah, we don't know
Order.
if it will be offered in the future or not. And the other option is that we just keep our eyes open for grant funding. And look for a consultant to help us through the process, but
Yeah.
that's a little tougher because there isn't a lot of grant funding available for this particular type of work.
Right. most of
Which
the
is
grant
why
funding
we
is
went
for
to the
land
Park
acquisition.
Service at the beginning.
Most of the grant funding's for what?
Like land acquisition.
Yeah, not for planning. Usually they figure the towns will do the planning work through their resources and then the grants will fund the land purchases.
So what have the other towns done?
I think it's been a mishmash. Some towns have found funding, some towns have just done it on their own. Through staff and volunteers. I know when we did it the first time, we had, the Green Valley Institute provided that support, so. Although we didn't provide, any financial.
Would it,
Assistance to it, we did have that sort of technical support.
would it be advisable if we asked some of the other towns what they did or not?
We already sort of
Yeah, we
have,
did that, yeah.
Excuse me?
we have sort of done that already, and for example, Groton recently did a good one, a good update, they used their own planner and to do most of the work.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about the smaller towns, Woodstock and?
Well, Woodstock also used the Green Valley Institute.
Yeah, but what are they doing now?
I don't know what they're doing now. I don't know if they've updated.
No, we haven't. What did the land trust? There's some entity that's keeping track of the open space acquisitions that Wyndham Land Trust is making, and so. I think. That information is available on the internet,
Hmm,
but
yeah, I mean, the other option that occurs to me is that we could reach out to UConn and have them work with the students to update the maps, but not update plan. Just have updated maps that would be, I don't know, like an addendum or.
doesn't really
Appendix
make
or
sense to
something.
me to update the maps without updating the rest of the plan at
Well,
the same
I
time.
kind of agree with that. And especially if we want to do any kind of analysis. We did a co-occurring resource analysis when we were working with GVI. And that was incorporated into the report. I mean, we could wait and see if, over the course of the next year, whatever staffing changes that they're making at the Park Service take place and they decide to reoffer this assistance.
Or maybe UConn would come up with something.
Well, UConn, you mean the students, because they could do the mapping, but I mean, they're not gonna be able to help us with the rest of it.
I guess you put it on hold is what you're saying,
That's, yeah, I think so.
is there?
And just wait and see what happens with the Park Service. And in the meantime, we can keep our eyes open for grant funding. And if anything comes along, we can apply for funding. John Guskowski had given us kind of a rough estimate of what it might cost. I don't recall how much it was, but we could go through our notes.
Something like $10,000.
Because I was thinking it was more than that.
It was at least that.
I was thinking 40 or 50 at least. And that was kind of bare minimum.
Right.
Right. Know if anyone has any other questions or observations about that?
To get our hopes up, I guess what I need to do is to email. Chad Rittenhouse and let him know.
Yeah, oh, yeah, 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 I'd ask you to hold off until we have the meeting, so. Item of business is the resiliency committee. We haven't really, it's just been on the back burner. New business, Conservation Commission Little Pond memo. Last month, if you recall, the Planning and Zoning Commission had invited us to attend a site walk that they were doing at Little Pond. It was on Saturday, June 14th. And that was to view town-owned parcels on the east side of Little Pond that the town was trying to make a determination of whether to sell the parcels or retain them and maybe put them into open space or conservation easements or something. If you recall, earlier this year, there had been a request from a resident on, it was Sandian Road. No, Jezersky Lane, sorry. Who wanted to buy a parcel, a town-owned parcel that was adjacent to his land. So I guess the Board of Selectmen asked the Planning and Zoning Commission to view the site and view the parcels and make a recommendation. And Planning and Zoning invited us to go along, so.
Now, these parcels, how big are they?
They're tiny.
Small, are they like 50 by 100 or?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they might even be smaller than that.
Cause my house is you know, they were all years ago. In the 20s, they were considered, you know, lake. And they were all 50 by 100 lots.
Yeah.
So that's what they did around Little. So in other words,
Yeah,
can these lots be built on now?
Probably not.
Because of water and sewer, right?
Right,
oh, yeah,
So they would have to buy 2 lots.
or 3 or 4.
yeah,
Okay.
in order to.
So a lot of people who are, or there are some people who are interested in purchasing these, is it just to extend their property?
I bet they are.
They don't wanna build on it, they just wanna,
Some of them do.
some of them, say, I should have gone to that, you know, site walk. I can't remember now why I didn't, but, you know,
About it,
huh?
because we didn't know about it.
How did I know something, maybe I learned about it afterwards?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, we talked about it at last month's.
we talked about it at last month's meeting.
Okay, that's what it was.
When you had a little cottage in the 20s, did they have like outhouses?
Yeah.
No, when my house was built in the 60s.
Okay, but the
But-
ones from the old days were outhouses?
But. No, people had
Or
one
cesspools,
little,
maybe?
one little place down the street from me, was a little shack. But he had a sewer and a septic, I guess he's just got okayed, grandfathered in. Pardon?
Cesspool, yeah,
Cesspool.
But some of them had indoor plumbing, some of them
He did have, there was a well there, cause I know when we first moved in 50-something years ago, somebody spent the summer there.
Right,
So like you said, it wasn't a septic, it was a cesspool,
Mhm.
right? And they must have had some kind of a water. But I know I was told by the old timers that in the 30s, there was a community well in one of the areas.
Mhm. That makes
You know, cause
sense,
most
yeah.
of the homes were just summer residents. But,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we discussed it briefly at last month's meeting, and then I put together over the course of the next few days, just some maps kind of depicting what I thought were, you know, some basic information that, I hope that the, Planning and Zoning Commission would find useful in their discussion, and they're making their recommendation to the Board of Selectmen, so. All that information is in the packet that Margaret had provided for everybody.
So where does it stand at this point?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know they discussed it at their second June meeting. And I don't know if they made a determination. The property over by Little Pond, did Planning and Zoning make any kind of recommendation to the
So-
board?
Their recommendation as far as Mr. Jezerski, lot 5 and 6, that
Mhm.
butts Mr. Jezerski's property, they made the recommendation that the Board of Selectmen go out, put it out to bid. We have not moved on it because the letter didn't get into my agenda packet in time. And then on the overall property, they're still considering putting the majority of it into like a permanent conservation easement.
so now the lots that are on Jezerski, would those be buildable or just expanding their property? Oh, you don't know.
Well, when I said Jezerski, I meant Mr. Jezerski, John
Mr. Je- okay, okay.
Jezerski. I can't remember what he's off. He's near Woodland, I think.
Yeah,
Yes, a Jezerski lane, yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's 67.
yeah, he's at 79,
79.
79.
Would we make, oh, I'm sorry, would we make really much money on selling them?
Not really.
No, okay.
But it does go out publicly.
Oh, yeah, no, it would have to, yes, I
Right.
understand that, yeah.
There's concern about not wanting the lots developed because there's no sewer and public water there.
Right.
Public sewer and. The thing is, I'm not sure that through in the translation from your memo to them is that. The. I think Judy's concept of the best way for easements to be handled is to try to find an entity like Wyndham Land Trust that wants to hold the easement rather than trying to get the town to hold the easement. But I'm not sure that they understand that, or if that was made clear in your memo. Because you just sort of mentioned that it could be handled as an easement. And that they could explore the possibility of Wyndham Land Trust or some other entity
Mhm.
holding the easement. It's on the last page of the text of the memo, transfer of the parcels to a land conservation organization.
Yeah, I think in the past, what we've done when we've done reviews like this is just to provide,
Permanent protection.
Guideline,
you know, the information. We're not necessarily to tell them what to do, but just these are the facts about this land, you know, and
I
you know,
think
take this information and use it to, you know, make your decisions.
looking back at this fee in lieu of Connecticut Audubon funding. I think Tara was wondering if, or some, between you, me and Tara, I think we were wondering if that could possibly pay for a survey to go along with the conservation easement. But it's probably too late now, because the deadline's Friday. Like for the fee and.
I'm not quite sure if this is a qualifying activity. I would have to read it more closely.
It's mainly for wetlands mitigation.
Oh, yeah, and we're not really mitigating anything, we're trying to preserve
It
land
says
that
that
hasn't been
The
developed.
funds are now available for the preservation, restoration, and enhancement of wetland and watercourse resources and associated upland buffers. So it's probably a stretch. I mean, you would think that it would, that the concept of the survey would be with preservation.
If the town still owns them and keeps them, they'll be preserved.
Right.
Yeah,
Judy seems to think it's better to see if we can get a third-party entity that would hold these and
Yeah.
to do the work involved with maintaining it.
yeah, and my other thought there, I didn't express it. You know, is Wyndham Land Trust already owns, I don't know if they own, there's the
Lots.
Jerry Swamp. What am I trying to think?
Cedar Swamp on Babula Road, on the other side of Babula Road,
Yeah.
somebody owns it.
Yeah, I was thinking the Nature Conservancy had purchased a portion of Jerry's Swamp. And then it was transferred to Wyndham Land Trust when they decided they didn't want to actively manage
they-
conservation land anymore, that wasn't where they wanted to take their mission. So, you know, Wyndham Land Trust, in other words, Wyndham Land Trust already has land in that area, and they always look to add land on to what they have, and this is abutting Jerry's Swamp, so that was one of the reasons I thought they might have interest, and they may also, once, you know, if they're interested in the land, they may even start approaching property owners to see if they want to sell or donate, you know, lots that they own as well, so they can keep adding to the conserved land. So that was my thought with Wyndham Land Trust, that's why I threw their name in there. But at any rate, it's the planning and zoning.
Everybody wants to be on the lakes. Really, seriously,
Well, it's very
That's
beautiful,
true.
isn't it?
huh?
Yeah.
I live near Webster Lake, you know, it's like, whoop.
All right, so next item is citizens' comments. Mr. Eli wasn't able to attend tonight's meeting, so. So that takes care of that, but we do have a guest tonight, Claudette. I don't know if you'd like to take this opportunity to say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself. I know at least some folks here know you, so.
A couple of people. I'm Claudette Hoffman. I've lived here in town for over 40 years. I live on Marcy Lane, the house overlooking Sunset Pond, which is open space, by the way. I understand that Sue Wheeler was on this commission, and I can't expect to fill her shoes because she was full of more energy than I can even describe. But I would be willing to participate for what it's worth. And see what's, what's what.
Great.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think, I think open space is important to the town. And preventing a lot of development, particularly in areas that are close to the water, which is ill considered. And, potentially detrimental to the environment is something we should work on too.
Right, especially like you said, if they don't have a septic, water, they can drill a well, but it's the septic, where's it gonna go?
Yeah. I know that the town is filling in a lot of lots because they have well and city water and city sewer available, but up in these more rural areas, that's not a possibility.
No,
You can't build houses like that close together without that.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
now the town eventually someday might, now that's what happened with Webster Lake. When they put the sewage through, all of a sudden, everything, those 50 by 100 lots went,
We started in film, yeah.
yeah, everything went
On the other hand, the town may look at that and say, well, look what happened with Webster Lake, we don't want that to happen here,
You know,
you know?
If we had sewer and water, it would be okay if it happened here, but
right,
there's no chance of it happening in my lifetime.
but little pond, if the pond looks already populated when you go by, you know, you're on 193, but. I suppose when you go down to all the little streets and everything, I've only ridden my, you know, but, you know, so they'd have, like, we have one, there's an open beach where you can put dock your boats or something, the town,
A landing,
pardon?
a landing for boats.
Right, I
It's a
just never
state boat
used,
launch.
There's, yeah, there's
pardon?
a state boat
There's a
launch
state
there.
boat launch.
right, I don't,
There's no signage there like there should be about cleaning your boat before you put it in.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
That would be important.
tried to encourage the Little Pond Association to reach out to the state and ask for that. Because they're worried now that they're spending money, the herbiciding of that pond is starting this month. They're worried about the next boat that's gonna come along. and
Right.
break something.
being, it being a smaller pond, like you take something like Webster Lake, people bring in huge from the ocean, so God knows what they can, you know, at least Little Pond's a little safer by not being as large.
on the other hand, people may not be as considerate,
Pardon?
they might not be as considerate. Small pond, nobody's gonna. pay
Right,
attention.
yeah, you're right, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Webster Lake, maybe they're paying more attention up there at the marinas. Maybe not, I don't know.
Oh, no, people I think, I don't know if they still do wash their boats there and everything, you know, it's like, so, I don't know if that's outlawed now, but
Mhm.
I've seen it years ago, but. But yeah, it's, you know, it's a nice little pond, look, you know,
Yeah, this is
I guess I'm gonna
fun.
have to drive through and really check it out, more so than I've ever done.
Mhm.
There's some new
Go for a
mapping
paddle.
there.
Pardon?
There's some new mapping for the endangered and protected species where there's a little bluet damselfly called the little bluet. And it's been reported at the boat launch and it mainly, I think it was associated with the emergent vegetation like lily pads in the southeast corner of the pond. And however, like according to the natural diversity database, it flies all around the pond now. So, you know, all we see for the natural diversity database mapping is crosshatching on the plans and on the maps, and they don't wanna tell us where, you know, there's a rare plant in the pond that luckily got mapped when they were doing this herbiciding plan. So we now have a very updated photo map showing where the colonies and the rare plants are, which is good. There's rare fish and rare mussels downstream that they had to protect while they were working on this herbiciding plan. And there's now this insect and the poor fisheries biologist who was preparing the herbiciding plan, they won't even tell him where the insect is because he's charged with protecting it, but they won't show him where in this crosshatch mapping the insect is, and so it's frustrating to him. It's a bit frustrating to us as a commission, because we're trying to do our, as a wetlands commission, to try to, when we get applications to address, for example, it says where the little bluet is, the damselfly, you don't wanna let them remove vegetation within 100 feet of the waterway. But we get people coming in buying lots and they wanna clear their shoreline
Yeah,
and put
they
up
have
a
no
dock
clue.
and
Yeah.
cut down the trees, and so.
So
It's
the
a
little,
case by case basis, and it takes weeks and weeks for them to review an application, and we've got people
Mm.
who want their building permits, and we're stuck in the balance of trying to do the right thing, and on the other hand, you know, we recognize that every day that passes by when they can't get their house started is frustrating to them.
so now it's the little bluet, that it's the damselfly?
Damsel.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm gonna have to research that. I get a lot of, you know, I raise monarchs and, you know, so I've got a full
We have
yard,
lots
so,
of those at our house, different damselflies and stuff.
Right.
Mm.
Sometimes it's like the
Alternates.
house.
yeah, because I've got
Like
longhorn
Bradley's
right behind me,
field.
so.
There are 3 odonates that are protected in the Thompson. You know, meaning between the dragonflies and the damselflies, and I'm kind of curious to ask them how Thompson got all that mapping, and I think it had something to do with Carolyn. Do you have any idea? The NDDB has told me that we can actually ask applicants to pay to have an ODNA special come out and look.
Hmm.
But I don't think that would be accepted very, warmly by anybody.
So
who wants to develop their
what commission is not sharing that with us?
It's the natural diversity database. The state, this is part of the state. And it partly it's because if they tell people where these species are, someone will go out and try to collect some.
Right.
All right, we ready to move on to members forum?
Thought that was, oh, that was citizens comment.
Yeah, we kind of merged it,
Sounds
didn't we?
like Claudette will,
Do we,
we'll send Claudette a, volunteer form, and she can fill that out.
I got one. You gave me one when I saw you.
oh, great.
Bring it
Okay,
in,
yeah.
it's still working.
Now, how do we
Oh,
spell
I haven't
Claude?
filled it out.
How do we spell your first name? Claudette?
Claudette, CLAUDETTE.
Oh, CL, what?
CLAUDETTE,
Yeah,
just
E-
like Claudette Colbert, the actress.
ETE?
Yep.
TT.
Two T's.
Two T's.
Okay.
That's very French.
Like Claudette Colbert, the actress.
Colbert?
Yeah,
Yeah, my mother named me after her.
that's cute. All right.
And my husband's middle name is Tyrone.
After
Tyrone Power.
That's cute.
Movie stars had
Celebrities.
a big influence on people's names. Tyrone Power. Howard.
Hmm?
He
Oh.
was big muscular.
Your last name is what? Milk? No.
Hoffman.
Ho-
HOFFMAN.
H-O,
FF.
oh, Hoffman.
Yeah.
Like Dustin.
There you go.
I'm saying
All right.
Hoffman.
Any
I
members
do
comments
hear.
tonight? Anyone have anything they wanna
Someday I'll do something.
share or? Quiet from that end of the table, quiet from that end of the table, all right. Okay, next meeting is Monday, August 18th, 2025, 7 PM in this room and via Zoom. And it is 8:02 and I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody. And Claudette, again, thank you so much for